Hello, YouTube people. There's one more video for the collection, guys. I made a to-do list with ASP.NET Core. Hello, ASP.NET Core. It's simple, easy. So let me show you what the little project I ended up doing. So it's a to-do list. It's responsive. Let me show you. Let me show you. See, responsive. Pretty good. So that I did it with accomplishing with using Bootstrap. All right. So let me show you what the application does. You can add up to the list. So let's add up. We got to do laundry. See, I added. Well, I already added. So then we can actually edit. Let me show you that. So let's add a fixing. So I added that. So I added that. Let's go ahead and edit this one. Cool. So let's go ahead and add up another item. So I'm going to add up another one. Go to work. Go to work. Oh, misspelled that. Oh, see, right there in the list. Oh, and I also added this heading over here, and it has a time on it, actually the day and the time. I'll show you guys at the end of that. So, and the last thing they can actually do is you can actually delete it. See, it deleted. See how nicely? All right, cool. So that's what the application is gonna So the first thing you guys gonna need is create an application with ASP.NET Core, or you can go to my GitHub repository and you can download out the startup, which is the startup comes pretty much with just a basic template. It has the database connected already. It has some models controller. It has your data. And it has a controller. So pretty much this is what gives you. So if you go, and don't worry guys, I will share the link of the project at the end, at the bottom of the video. And let me show you what the basic project does. It does nothing. So we got to give it, we're going to add up some flavor to it. So this is pretty much the whole project. And this one here, so you can get it from the GitHub. And guys, don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to like. And so let's move on with the project. So let me go ahead and close this up. So we already know what the project is going to look. So let me go ahead and close it over here. This is the final project. Cool. Let me close this up. All right. So this is the project. So let's get on with the project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a class right there in my models controller. So I'm going to create a class and I'm going to call this one to-do list. All right, that one, after that, I'm going to need an ID. The next thing I'm going to need is going to be a string. And this one's going to be content. This is what we're going to, and let's make it require. Ooh, got to spell check there, require. And then we got to import data annotations. So once we have that, I already have my data connection connection string. I'll show you guys. So I already have it over here. I'm using SQLite. You guys can use SQL Server if you like, but I'm using SQLite. So, and also on top of that, if you go to your startup project, I have a connection string already here. See over here. So again, you guys can download this startup project from my GitHub, or you can download it, but make sure you do the data connection here. So now that you have that, I am going to open my folder. Oh, wait, let me not forget. Make sure you go to the application and make sure you import. You got to do, in order to do the migration, you got to do this. You got to do db set, the name of the class, which is that I called it to do list. Wait, that's what I called it? Yeah, to-do list. That's what I called it. My daughter says yes, that's what I called it. All right, so now that I have that, this one's gonna be called to-do list. All right. All right, so now that we have that, so then we can go ahead and do our first migration. So what I'm gonna do, in order to create your first migration, you gotta do add dash migration. So then you gotta give it a name, which I'm gonna call it add models in it. You can call it whatever you want. Just actually, let me call it add to-do list. Let it build up. Let it build up. All right, cool. So it gives you an ID and it gives you one for this is pretty much the table that's creating for me. All right. So now that we have that, the next thing you want to do is you want to do update database. Perfect. So far so good. We have that. So now the next thing I want to do, now that we have that, I want to go ahead and create a controller. And this one is going to be called, it's going to be to-do list controller. .cs. And this is going to inherit from controller. Make sure you import the MVC. Aspnetcore MVC. So the first thing I want to do, I want to make sure I connect my data. So I got to import a application DB context. And this is how my database is going to connect to my controller. So let me go ahead and import that. So this here is actually coming from the data, which is over here. See how I call the application DB context? This is where it's coming from. So then you have to initialize. So make sure you initialize in the beginning of the controller. So this is it. So you can leave your context and let it be this. I always like to have that reference do an underscore. So let's create the first one, which is going to be public async task, and it's going to be action result, and this one's going to be the index. So this is going to be my first one, and here what are we going to do is we're going to get all the to-do list. Let's do to-do list. This one, because we did async, we got to make sure we await this. Then we got to make sure we do context. The name of, then we got to do the name of the model, which is the class. So it's to-do list, and then you want to do to list, and it's going to be async because we're passing async up here to make sure we put that there. And of course, you have to import the library. And then once you have that, then you want to do return view, and you want to return the to-do list. So then there's two ways to create the view. You can actually go here where it says view, and you can right click it and you can add the view, or you can create manually a folder, but make sure it matches the controller. So let me show you the other way. This one here, you're going to call, I call it to-do list. So make sure it matches the controller. So then once you have that, see to-do list. So then you want to create an index. I'm going to do index that CS HTML. So, and to make sure that works, I'm going to do that. Go to the view. See? So from the controller, you can right click and on that it says on the view, you can go to the view. So here, I'm going to show you guys how it connects. So I'm going to put down home. All right, so, I'm sorry, home template. I'm just gonna call it home template. All right, so now let's go ahead and build it to make sure it works. So here, it's gonna be to-do list. Everything, yep, that's it. So now it's actually working. All right, so now that we have that and we're connected to the data, so now let's create, let me close some of these pages. Let me clean up my workspace. All right, so now that we have that, all right, so we have that, So now we're gonna work on the index. Here, we're gonna look up, we're gonna change it a little bit here. So we can have the same thing as we did before. All right. All right. All right, guys, so let's work on the HTML. So the first thing is this is just going to be HTML, nothing crazy. You guys should know about HTML. First, let me make sure I put this as a reference so that way it knows. So it's going to be view data. And this one here is going to be, title. And it's going to be equal to the index. So that's that. And here what I'm going to do is we're going to create a simple div with the class of container. All right, so we got that, and then we're going to grab the table. We're going to create a table, and we're going to give it a class of, this is simple bootstrap. So table dot border. Make sure the spelling is correct. All right. So here we're going to do the t head. Sounds weird. And then we're going to do tr. And here we're going to actually put the th, and let's close it up. This one's going to be content. Let's put the content here. And then we're going to do th twice. All right, so we have that. Let's go ahead and close that. Now we got to work. We got to work on the body. So it's going to be t body. That's that. Oh, you know, guys, what I forgot to actually go ahead and install Bootstrap. So the first thing I'm going to do, actually, let's build it up and see what it looks like. Let's show you how. See, nothing. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to install it in Aspnetcore Bootstrap. I know many of you probably already know how to do it. So you gotta create a folder, and this one's going to be www.root. And here, you guys are going to have to go to client-side library right here. So let's look for Bootstrap. And I think the one I want is for Bootstrap 4 points. Let's do 4.5.3. All right, so let's do that one. It's not going to take too long. Let's see if it's there already. Yep, it's right here. Cool. So then what you want to do is you want to go to your views, and you want to go to your share folder right there where it says layout. And then what you want to do is you want to grab the Bootstrap. So see, all I did is just pull it and put it in my home page. So now let's build it up again. Let's see what the project looks like. Let's refresh the page. All right, cool. So you have that. Of course, we need a lot. We need more stuff than that. So it's a work in progress. So now that we have that, let's go back again to the HTML. Here, 1 second. So next thing, I want to go ahead and add up the button on the top. So let's just use, let's add up the button up here. So let's put let's create a button. So let's do this. Hold on. Let's do a H reference. Sorry, I got a brain fart for a second. So here we're gonna do, actually, no, let's do the action. Let's do the action controller, ASP action. And this one is gonna be create. This one we're gonna create it with ASP. So this one here, we're gonna do add new to do. Let's give it a class. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to give it a btn dash success. And let's wrap it up in inside a P for paragraph. Let's wrap it up. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So let's get that. All right, let's see what it looks like so far. All right, cool. That's another cool thing about Aspnetcore. See how it refreshes? That's amazing. All right, so that's that. All right, so that's that. So next thing I want to go ahead and do, it's at the, I want to put at the bottom. I don't know if I should bring the image now. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So next thing I want to do is section scripts, because we're going to, this is where the JavaScript will go. So here, it's going to be with the JavaScript. So I almost forgot. I'm going to go ahead and grab the image, the one I'm using. So hang 1 second. I got to go back again to my repo and make sure I grab the picture. So hold on. All right. So what I did is I just got a small picture. You guys can go back to my repo and you guys can grab it from there too. I didn't have it, so I had to go back over there. Anyways, so over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a div. This is where the image is going to go. So I'm going to create that. I'm going to call this one header. So let's go ahead and close it. And this one here, I am going to put, this is where it's going to live. So here, I'm going to create a div for the time. So this one here is going to be day. So this is where that time is going to go. So let's work on that. Let's go ahead and put the time on it. So let's work on the JavaScript for just a second. All right. So the first thing I want to do, I want to create that. It's going to be, I'm going to call this one date element. So what we want to do is we're going to grab the ID here. So that way we go ahead and put the time in there. So what we're going to do is when we grab document get element by ID, and this one is called date. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to create a constant, and it's going to be called today. And this one's going to be the date. Go with that date. So here it's going to be date, and then we're going to use inner HTML, and here we're going to pass today, and it's going to be to local date string. All right, so that's that, and then we want to make sure it's US. So we're going to do en-us. So let's see if it's there already. Oh, what just happened? You know what happened? You gotta let the Aspnetcore that you're gonna start using. JavaScript. So you have to go to this your layout. And in your layout, what you want to do is, I'll show you guys what I got to do. 1 second. All right, so you got to go to layout, and over here, what you want to do is you want to re-render. So it's going to be re-render. Hold on, re-render. I'm trying to look for that one. Want to re-render section. I can't find it. Re-render section, and it's going to be scripts. And it's going to be require false. Okay, so that's that. Then what is highlighting in red? Let's see why it's on that. Hold on 1 second and see what's going on with this thing. Oh, look at me, I misspelled this. It's called render, but missing the N. And here, I almost forgot this. Let's see. Yep, error is gone. Yeah. All right. So if I do that, let me see. Oh, sometimes I don't have to restart the application. All right, let's see if it works. So it's reloading. It's reloading. I might have to rebuild the application again. All right, let me go ahead and rebuild the application and see what it does. All right, cool. So see, you got the time there. All right, so now that we have the time, what we want to do. So now let's bring the image. So let's go ahead and bring the image. Well, now we're going to do is we got to create a folder with the CSS. So let's go ahead and create a folder. So CSS. And this one is going to be called Sci. I'm going to call it Sci CSS. All right, so now we can work on the style. So you also got to make sure you link it to your layout. So let's go ahead and do that right now before I forget. So that's that. So now we can style real quick on the application. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and that was called header. Called header, and then here what we want to do is want to give it a width 100%, of course, and then we want to give it a height of 300 pixels. And then we're going to grab the image, so it's going to be background image, and it's going to be the URL. And here, I think is, oh, I picked the wrong one. You see context. And then we're going to do the image, and then we're going to grab the only images there. Let me see if it shows already. Yeah, it's right there. So we got a few things to do. We got to make sure we cover the whole thing. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want to do the background size. Background size is going to be 100%. 100% by 200. And it's going to be, let's do background because it's repeating right now. So let's make sure that doesn't repeat. Background repeat dash repeat. Let's make sure it doesn't repeat. So it's no repeat. So and then we want to do position. The position on the background, want to make it, I'm sorry, the image relative. So let's do that. Let's see what that does. Yep, cool. So yeah, perfect, cool beans. So then we'll work on the, I don't know if you could see the time is up here. We got to work on that too. So we got a few more things. We're almost there. So let's give it a border. Let's give it a border radius. And here, what you want to do is you want to give it 15 pixels. And by 15, then 0, 0. Okay. So that's that. So now let's work on the time. So this one's called date. So on the date, we want to make it position. We want to make it absolute, so it doesn't move. So we want to, I want to make it to the bottom. So let's do bottom 10 pixels. Let's make it left. So I want it to stay on the left side. So let's make it 10 pixels from the left. Let's give it a color so that we can see it. We want to give it a color of white, and then we want to give it a font size. Font size, let's see, font size. I told her in the bottom, look at that. Font size, we want to give it 25 pixels, 25 pixels. So then we want to give it from the font family. And this one here, I want to give it, this one's called I think it's called Titanium. Italian web. And then this one's sans serif. I think that's how it's pronounced. But anyways, so see, it's there nicely. All right. So on top of that, I want to give, let me go back to the JavaScript. So now that we have the CSS and everything so far, so now I want to do, I'm going to show you guys something else that I want to do with the JavaScript that you guys can do also. All right, so I want to create another one. It's going to be called options. This one here, what I want to do, let's call weekdays. And it's going to be, let's put it long. And this one, let's give it month. The month. And this one, I want to do short. And the last one, we want to do date. And this one's going to be numeric. All right, numeric. That is beautiful. All right, so then, so that way it will pass through. So we want to put it here. Options. Let's see if that makes any difference. Let's refresh the application. Yep. See how I changed it? I put it actually send Sunday, November 28th, which is today. So that's beautiful. All right. So now that we have the JavaScript out of the way, and we have the button here. So now let's go ahead and work on adding a page to create. So let's do that right now. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and close these pages for now. Go ahead and close the index. So let's go back to the controller. On the controller, I'm going to need another one. So this one here, we're going to need the one that's going to be called create. So let's go ahead and create one, public. And this one is going to be action, just action, or action result. And this one's going to be called create. Okay, this one. And we just got to return the view. Return the view, ooh, just like that. So this one, then we got to create another one. This is the one we're going to use to actually push the data to the database. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and leave a reference here. So this one's going to, we're going to use the HTTP post. So this one is going to be to do, and it's going to be create. So again, it's going to be public. Don't forget the HTTP on the top. So it's going to be HTTP post, and this one's going to be public. It's going to be a sync, and it's going to be task, and it's going to be action result. And here, what you want to do is the same thing, create. Spell this, create. Perfect, create. And here, in order to create a data or to push it to the database, you have to pass. Ooh, look at that, I misspelled this. So you have to pass the name of your class, which is, in my case, I called it, it's gonna be called to do list. That's what I call it. Oh, Go ahead and import that. So, and then the second one, you can call it whatever you want as a reference. I'm going to call it item. So that's what I'm going to call it, item. So the first thing you want to do, you want to make sure you check the model state if it's valid. So we want to do model state is valid if the model state is valid. If it's valid, so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add it. We got go ahead add it to the data. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up the item. And then what you want to do is you want to wait because you're using the task and you want to do context that save async. So you want to save it to the data. So then what you want to do, you want to return the view. And it's going to be an item. All right, cool. So that's that. So here, what you want to do, you want to do temp data success. So that way it knows, let you know that the item was added. So we want to put down the item has been added. All right, so that's that. And then once it's added, you want to do is return, do direct. So you want to do is a return redirect to action. And what you want to do is you want to redirect the people to the index. So that's that. So once you add it to the database and you save it, you want to send them back to the index page. All right. So that's that. So the next one on the controller, you want to do is once we have that, the edit. So here, we're going to create another one. This one right here, it's going to be called the edit. So that way, like let's say you want to edit the data. So you can edit. Oh, in other words, you can actually update it. All right, so let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's go ahead and create that. So let's say you want to update your data. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's have a reference. Let's do get. This is what you want to do is you want to get the data from your table. So you want to do get to do. And here you want to do the edit, whatever number it is. All right. So the first thing you want to do is going to be public. And here you want to do async. And that's going to be task. Just like before. And that's going to be action result. And this one is going to be edit. And what you want to do is you want to pass the ID because you want to edit the ID. You want to edit one item only. So you got to pass the ID. All right. So here, what you want to do is you want to grab the to-do list. And this one's called item. And you want to go ahead and await. Okay. So then you want to do context to-do list. Then you want to find. You find async and then you want to do the ID. All right, so this is once you have the item from your data table, once you have it, then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab the item and make sure you have one. But if you don't have one, which is right now, that's what I'm doing. If you don't have one, so what you want to do is you want to return to your customers or whoever is checking your application, you want to return not found. So then, okay, so that's that. So if it's found, you want to do is return the view. So that way they can go ahead and edit that. All right, cool. So this is to get the item. All right, so the next one, in order to update the item, you want to do is you want to do the post again. So this one's going to be to do. Give me 1 second. All right, so in order to do this, in order to persist the data when you update it, you have to do HTTP post. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do HTTP post, and here you want to validate. So we want to do validate anti-forwarding token. And here we want to do the same thing. Public async task, and we're going to do action result. And here we want to do edit. And here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pass a to-do list, and it's going to be item. And here we want to check this again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do if model state is valid. So what do you want to do? If it's valid, you want to save it. So first thing you want to do is do context dot update. This is what we're doing, the update. Update, and we want to update the item. So once we do that, then you want to do the await. It's not async, await, because we're using async. So we want to await this in the context dot save async. And then you want to let your customer that the item has been updated. So you want to do this, and you want to do success. Here you want to send a message. So you want to do the item has been updated. So once you have that, then you want to do the same thing. You want to do a return, redirect to action, and you want to send them back to the index. All right, so once you have that, and then you want to return the view. Return the view, which is going to be the item. Perfect. So you have that. And the last controller, the last part that we're going to do in the controller, it's going to be the delete. So this one's going to be get, and it's going to be to do delete. And you want to, so the first thing you want to do is you want to grab the ID. So let me see, let me show you guys. So it's going to be public async, and it's going to be task. I don't know why I keep putting always capitalize that. So here you want to do action result, and this one is going to be delete. And remember, guys, because you want to delete one item, so you want to pass the ID. So here again, you want to do is to do list, because that's the name of the class, and you want to do item. Here you want to do, and then you want to do is you want to await, and then you want to graph the item. So then it's called to-do list, and it's going to be, you want to graph one item, so you want to pass the ID. So here you want to pass the ID. Once you have the item, so once you have the item, you want to check, make sure. So it's going to be, there's going to be if item is going to be equal to null. This one here is going to, you're going to do temp data, and here you want to pass an error. So it's going to be error. It's going to be equal to whatever message you're going to pass. So you're going to put down the item doesn't, that all you can put down does not exist. So once you have that, then else. So if it doesn't exist, you want to send a message. So then if it's there, what you want to do is you want to context to-do list dot remove. You want to remove it from your data table. So then you want to do is remove. So then you want to await context That's save. Now you want to save it, the change. And then you want to send a message. So this one's going to be called temp data. And you want to do success. And here you want to send a message. It's going to be saying the item has been deleted. Perfect. And then once you do that, then you want to send them you want to do redirect to action. You want to send them back to the index page. So here you want to do index. Perfect. So that's it for the controller. Look at that. Wow. So not a whole lot going on. But anyways, if you guys missed it, you guys can actually get it from my GitHub. Don't worry, I'll share the code. All right, so now that we have that, what we want to do is we want to go to the folder, the to-do list, and I want to create a HTML here. So what we want to do is we want to create the create.cs HTML. So now here, what we want to do is we want to pass this here. So this is going to be the create page. So you want to do is view data. And let's give it the title. And this is going to be the create. All right, so here, what I'm going to wrap it up in a container. All right, so we wrap it up in the container, and then now I'm gonna do H1, and this one here is going to be add a new item. So that way they know they're going to be adding a new item in this page. So this one, let's put a HR, and here let's do a div, and let's give it a class of row. And let's do another div, and this one here, let's give it a class of let's make it colon dash medium dash 4. Okay, so now that we have that, let's create the form. So what we want to do is we want to create a form, and here we're going to do ASP action, and this one's going to be create. Let's get rid of this here. All right, so let's create a, and here what we want to do is we want to pass, let's put the div, and let's do a class form group. And here we want to pass, let's pass a label, and let's give it a ASP.NET, sorry, ASP.NET 4, and this one's going to be called content. Oh, you know, before I forget, so that way on the very top, you want to pass your model. So here, I want to pass my model. So the name of the project is called what the heck did I call it? No, it's called basic. It's called basic project. And here you want to do is pass models, and this one is to-do list. So now we can access here the ASP4. So see how now it allows you to access that whatever you had on the class, on the model class. So now I can access that, and now I want to give it a Bootstrap, and this one's going to be control label. Control label. Okay, so here is going to be where the input is going to live. So this is where it's going to be ASP4
And this one's going to be content again. And here, what you want to do is you want to give it a class. And this one is going to be form control. Form control. Okay, cool. So now for the validation, we wanted to grab as a span, and this one here, let's give it a class of text danger. Oh, text danger. There you go. And here, what you want to do is you want to pass ASP validation class. Ooh, what am I doing there? Space. All right. So here you want to validate the content. ASP validation. Don't forget the 4. All right. So we have that. So then we have, that's for the validation. So that way, when you, in case you don't submit the, or let's say you want to submit the form without like empty form, it'll give you the error and it will say like, make sure you input something, make sure you type on that. All right, so here you want to create another div. So this one here is going to be for the form group, dash group. So let's go ahead and close the div. And then here you want to create another input. And this one here is going to be the submit. This is going to be a type submit. It's going to be, the value is going to be create. And then you want to give it a class. And it's going to be a button. So it's going to be btn dot primary. Cool. So that's that. So then once you have that, ooh, what did it just happen? Okay, so submit. Let me fix that. All right, so that's that. Make sure I got it right. So submit, value, create, button. All right, so that's that. That's that. Oh, and let's put a link. So that way let's put a link in the bottom here. All right, so that's that. 1, 2, 3 plus that. Let me see where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it right here in the bottom. So what I want to do is I want to create a div right here. And div here, what we want to do. So here we want to do is we want to grab an H. Let's give it a H reference. Let's give it a button of btn-info. And here, let's do ASP action. So that way we can go back to the main page. So this one here will send you back to the main page. So this one here, let's do back to list. And the button's there, actions there. Okay, cool. So that's that. So let's see what it looks like. So let's see if I click over here. Yep, it's already working there. Cool. So now I'm going to test it. I want to see if it actually works already. So I want to add up let's add up something to the data, to the table. So what I want to do, let's put in cleaning. All right, let's go ahead and create. Of course, you're not going to see it because we got to go back to the index and we got to do a few things on the index. So bear with me. So here we're going to go see how it's blank. So let's work on that right now. Also we got to do model. And this is going to be basic project. Make sure we import this models to-do list. And on top of that, we got to do this too. In order, you got to put down INumerable. You got to wrap it up on INumerable, because if not, it's not going to work. So let's put that basic project, that model, that to list. All right. So that's that. Cool. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to do for each, and then it's going to be bar item and model. So here we go ahead and pass the data, and then this is how we're going to be able to see it. So hold on, let me grab myself some Oh my God, thank God. Oh my God, I needed some water, all that talking. All right, so here we want to pass a TR and we want to do, we want to pass TD over here. And then we want to do add item dot content. So see how this one, this is the item is coming from the model. So this is going to be coming from your actual data table. And so we have that. Let's go ahead and put another TD over here. And you guys will see this is going to be for the button. So we're going to create a button that's going to be the edit. So let's give it a let's give it a class of btn dash info. So this one is going to be ISP action. And this is going to be the first button I'm going to do is going to be edit. So here we want to ASP route. ASP route. We want to pass the ID. Don't forget that. We want to pass the ID. And this one's going to be at item because we want to edit. So then we got to pass the ID here. And this one's going to be edit. So in order, remember this, every time you edit something, you got to pass, make sure you pass the ID. All right, so one more, we got to create one more button. And this one is going to be for the delete. So let's pass that. So it's going to be a class. And this one, I'm going to give it a btn dash danger. So and this one here is going to be ASP action. Same thing, just like the one I did for edit. So this one is going to be delete. And here we want to pass the ASP route. And it's going to be the ID also. So here it's going to be, we need the ID in order to delete it. So it's going to be item.id and it's going to be delete. All right, cool. So if we build the application again, actually we don't even have to because we were not working on a controller. So here we can just refresh the page. Let's refresh the page. We should be able to see, oh, no, I was wrong. I guess that we have to delete it. I'm sorry, we have to build the application again. Hold on, I see why. There's an error here. All right, so that's the, refresh the page. I might have to, yeah, I think I have to build the application again. So let me do Control F5. All right, so yeah, there it is. Look at that. All right, so let me add up more items to the list. So let's here cleaning. Let's do shopping. Let's add up shopping. Let's add up shopping to the list. Yeah, see, cool. Let's add up 3 more. So let's add up cars. Let's add up shopping. Movie night. How about we need to watch a movie? Yep. Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool. Of course, these. Oh, why is not red over here? That should be red. Let me see, what did I mess up there? Yeah, I misspelled here. Danger. All right. So let's refresh the page. Okay, cool. And I want to do here, I want to make sure you see how over here it says content. I want to put down edit and I want to put down delete. So let's do that right now. So let's go back up here and I'm going to put down edit. And the last one is going to be delete. Perfect. So that's that. That's that. Perfect. So it's refreshing. Yeah, cool. So that's that. So right now, of course, we haven't created actually the delete will work. Let me do that. Let me show you. Yep, see, it's working. So now we got to create one more view, which is going to be the edit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do, this is going to be the edit. So edit CX HTML. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and work on this. All right, so here, the edit one is very similar to the one that's create. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and I'm just going to change a few things around, okay? So let's go ahead and grab that. Very similar. So pretty much is the same. So here, instead of being create, it's going to be edit. So this one here, and let's change this. So that way, you know it's going to be for the edit. Here, it's going to be action word action. It's going to be for the edit. So here, oh, I almost forgot a few things on the other one, but I'll fix it just a second. The only thing here on the actual form, you're going to need to pass the ID. That's the only way. Then you have to hide it. So let's go ahead and do that. The ID, you got to pass an ID. So what you want to do is input. Type, you want to hide it. You want to hide it. So it's going to be hidden. And here's going to be ASP4. And this one's going to be the ID. All right, so you got to pass the ID. So that way, every time you edit something, it knows which one is editing. All right, so besides that, everything else pretty much, and here you want to save it. Instead of create, you want to do save, and you want to do submit, same. Let's see what else. All right, so that's that, submit, back to list. Yeah, everything else is the same. All right, cool. So let's see if it works. Let's go ahead and build the application again. Oh, so let's go back over here. Let's refresh it. Yep, it's working. So we put over here 12. Yeah, it's saving. Shopping, let's put down shopping 12. Let me see what that does. Yeah, so and if we put down car 3, let's put down car 350Z. 350Z. Let's see that. Oh, that's working. See, perfect. So let's add up more items again. Let's put down movie night. Movie night. Let's put down movie night. How about we put down? Let's put down. Let's see, laundry. You got to do laundry. Yep, that's that. Perfect. And let's see. Let's see how responsive this thing is. Oh, let me just open let me open the console. So let's go ahead and open this up, see how responsive it is. So it's perfect, it's beautiful. So guys, how simple and beautiful this thing is. You can add it. And also if you want to add up something, let's say you don't want to add up anything, and let's see make sure the validation works. Yeah, you see that? Perfect. That is so cool. All right, guys. So that was it. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and support my channel, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll continue making some more videos. I love Aspnetcore. This is just a small project. I promise, guys, I'll work on another one. Will be more functions with the maybe I'll do something with Aspnetcore and create like APIs or something, so we can use JavaScript or maybe Angular. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, see you guys. I'll see you on the next video, and don't forget to subscribe.